You're watching the TCMMA podcast.
We'll just go one by one. And first, it's UFC 310. And this goes down in December. And it's a great card at the top. Welterweight title, Belal Muhammad, Shavkat Rakhmonov. Doesn't get better than that. That's going to be a true test for what Belal Muhammad is doing now with the takedown game, working with Khabib, and that's going to be the ultimate fight. And then in the flyweight division, you got Pantoja versus Asakura. And you might be saying, well, who the heck is Asakura? He's making his UFC debut for the flyweight title. That's how weak this division is right now. UFC 310 goes down December 7th. Tough day for me because Bone Thugs and Harmony's coming to town. And you know that's my number one group. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we will see. But that's going to be a big time card to round out the year in terms of pay-per-view fights. There's one other fight on December 14th, but UFC 310 is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Moving forward, Jon Jones adds Dana White's anti-aging coach, Gary Brecka, to UFC 309 camp. And that's impressive, right? Because Jon Jones is getting older. And this is a guy that told Dana White, CEO of the UFC, he had 10 years left to live based on his genetic testing. So, of course, Dana White went right to work. You see, he looks bigger, stronger, looks better, looks younger. And he's taking it serious. And now Jon Jones seems to be going that route too. And that's a good thing because that leads me to believe he's trying to stick around for a little while. He's already getting ready for Tom Aspinall. Make no mistake about it. Stipe is just a bump in the road. Let's be real. So he's got almost probably a year from right now. So I'd say next October, maybe next June or July, August, somewhere around there, Jon Jones will fight Tom Aspinall. So he's working with the right people to get ready for what looks like, to be the ultimate fight, for sure. Conor McGregor wishes Max Holloway luck versus Ilia Topuria at UFC 308, saying mess him up. Well, he didn't say mess him up. He used some other choice words. But yeah, McGregor doesn't want Topuria to win. Obviously, he's going with Max Holloway. And I think a lot of people are going with Max Holloway after his last fight where he dropped Gaethje at the 24:59 mark, 1 second left in the fight. I mean, that was ridiculous. But it's back down to featherweight where Topuria rules. So I don't know if Conor McGregor is gonna get his wishes in that one. Dana White slammed Kamala Harris after Colbert appearance. This clip should scare everyone, Dana White says. And he's alluding to the fact that she can't put together a sentence without the teleprompter. I mean, some things we all know already. Luckily for us, the election is just around the corner because I'm being honest, I want to get this thing over with. Let's get back to sports and all that. We got the Olympics coming up. We got the World Cup of soccer coming up. We got a lot coming up that should bring the country together, hopefully. And enough with this election. But yeah, she struggles without the teleprompter. As you saw, it went off in one event. Trump doesn't have that problem. He's on like every podcast, whether it be comedy, whatever. He's trying to relate to the people right now. And it seems to be working. We'll see. Dana White and Joe Rogan think UFC 307 judges got it wrong. And they're talking about the co-main event. And of course, that was a few weeks back now. Well, a week and a half ago. And that was between Juliana Pena and Rockwell Pennington. And we went over the stats, and I think Juliana Pena won the fight. A lot of people think Rockwell Pennington won. Split decision. So it is what it is. But it seems that's how they feel. Right? And he was speaking to MMA Fighting. He said it's just crazy to me what these judges do. At the end of the day, you have competitive fights. They go to the decisions, and it just takes that one person to take away everything from somebody. And I feel like they just really don't realize what they're doing. And yet they're the ones with the best seat in the house. Yeah. I mean, they get paid to be there. They don't have to pay to be there. They get paid to be there. And then you just pick the winner. I mean, I still don't understand why they don't have a point system. But, we're going to sit there with judges for just 3 rounds. I mean, it's crazy. Dana White went off today. It was great. Absolutely great. Dana White sounded off on do nothing MFers in the UFC rankings panel. The morons strike again. And we told you this was coming. We've seen the UFC rankings really take a hit lately. The people are upset with what's going on. Khalil Roundtree went toe-to-toe with Alex Pereira. He was number 8 in the division, went up and fought for the title, didn't win, but not arguably gave him the best fight of any light heavyweight yet. And he's still ranked number 8. He doesn't even get credit over guys like Jamal Hill and Yuri Prochazka who got dropped early. Yet Khalil Roundtree went, late into the 4th round. But yeah, Dana White sounding off, and he's saying more or less he's actually having meetings about this and going to get some things done over the next week, it sounds like. So we'll see where it's headed. He talked about AI doing the rankings. I think that's a good idea. But you still got to code it once again, and what are going to be the decisions in AI making the picks or the rankings? Would Khalil Roundtree get credit even though he lost? Could you still move up? Is it proper to move someone up after a loss? In this situation, I say yes. Normally, no. PFL's Don Davis expects Dana White to make major announcement in attempt to stifle Francis Ngannou's MMA return. I mean, what announcement could he make unless someone's going to fight at Vegas 99 this Saturday? But I don't think Dana White gets down like that. I mean, the UFC is already contracted out to ESPN, right? And I get it. They're going toe-to-toe with Ngannou, but I just don't. Maybe Dana White does something. I wouldn't put it past him. It'd still be a great strategic move. I mean, that's what the guy does. But at the same time, he doesn't need to. These fights are going to take off regardless of who else is fighting. It's always that way. Yeah, people might watch one fight over there, but they're coming back to UFC for, 10 of the other 11 fights or however many there are this Saturday, which I believe there's 11. And Ngannou's coming off a KO loss in boxing. So, I mean, how excited are we? I mean, you think he can beat Jon Jones? Everybody wants to see it, but now it's not as big as it was 2 years ago. Joe Rogan reveals the only UFC fighter that really freaked him out. As he admits, there's one thing about the icon he can't believe, and he's talking about Yoel Romero, saying nobody really looks like they're bigger than the weight class as much as Yoel Romero did at 185 middleweight division. That guy was huge, flexible too, could move. And we saw him late in life, right? He started MMA, I think they said at 35 or 36, and ended up fighting for a title. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, can you imagine if he would have got involved in MMA like at 24, like these guys now? That's why it's crazy what we're going to see coming up. We're in the prime days over the next 15 to 20 years of MMA, because you got a lot of younger kids getting involved earlier. This is a guy, when MMA starts becoming popular, he decides to take it up, so he gets in the mid-30s. But kids now are, early teens, late teens, competing heavily in the 20s. You see Raul Rosas Jr. getting into the UFC at 17 or 18? I mean, it's just the game has changed. But Yoel Romero was a big dude at middleweight. I could see why Joe Rogan would say that. DT Donald Trump reveals why there's nobody like Dana White as he opens up on friendship with UFC chief. And we all know that there's a friendship there. Dana White speaking at the RNC. For those of you that are new to politics, right? That's the Republican National Convention. And, we've obviously talked about Khamzat getting the visa reinstated if Trump becomes president. So if for no other reason alone, if I didn't know anything, I got to go with Trump because I need to see Khamzat Chimaev fight in America for the title once he beats Robert Whittaker and dusts him off next week. Then Trump gets elected. He gets reinstated to the USA. And then we get the championship fight here. We don't want Khamzat fighting for the championship overseas. We want him fighting right here against Duplessis, or, maybe Sean Strickland pulls that thing out, and then he's got to defend the home turf, and then it really gets interesting because you're talking about major trash talk between those two, although Khamzat's been silent. Khamzat Chimaev has been silent with the new coaches. He's still out there, but he seems to be really focused, and that's exactly what I want to see. But yeah, Donald Trump for president. Let's get Khamzat in the country, reinstate the visa, and let's get it popping. Let's make it happen. Middleweight title fight in the USA, not in Saudi Arabia or something like that, which is fine. But I want to see Khamzat fight for the title in America. Please believe it.
He's gon' fight, he's gon' fight. Hold your breath till the end of the night. Last fight of call, UFC at its height. Bringing that thunder with all his might. Saying, step up, wanna fight? Hold up, think twice. Gladiator, assassin, reckless, no abandon. Walk through that cage, he'll leave your ass.